Hey, my name's Tommy Peavyhouse, and you're wondering who the hell is this guy to be telling me anything about resumes? Well, because I had like the worst resume ever. So I moved to DC in 2009. I was going to launch this amazing career of impact. I was going to work in national security policy. I was going to change the world, right? And for 4 or 5 years, despite being employed, I wasn't doing it. I was actually pretty miserable. I applied to 350 jobs, got 3 interviews. Even though I'd gotten this master's degree, I paid a resume writer. I networked. I had all the informational interviews. I went to the networking events. Nothing worked. And eventually I figured out what did work, and everything changed for me. In a matter of 4 or 5 months, suddenly, boom, I had 14 interviews in 12 weeks, broke into my field, got all the clearances I needed. I've never looked back. And I learned some incredible universal truths and inspired me to start helping other people. So from 2014 to 2017, I just started helping people organically. And in 2017, I made it official and I launched DC Hopefuls, this organization I run in my spare time while I'm still building my daytime career. And I've looked at hundreds of resumes. And I know you're thinking, why do we care about resumes? I want to get out there and network. And, Tommy talks about not applying online all day and wasting time with cover letters and nonsense. But your resume still matters because people who want to help you are going to need to take that resume. They're going to need to pass it around. They're going to judge you based on that resume, not where you went to school, not your experience, but did you take the time to make a good looking, easy to read, impressive resume? I would rather look at a resume that's well written and you went to a state school than you went to Ivy League and your resume is a mess. Literally, we have hired someone who had far less experience because their resume was amazing versus the candidate who went to the better school, had the better internships, but his resume was a disaster. People want to know that you take yourself seriously enough to make a great resume. So here are the 3 biggest mistakes I have seen over the hundreds of resumes, and I'm going to give you a solution to each problem. So number 1, format. People keep screwing up the format. They're almost trying too hard with the format. You go to these extremes. Either I'm going to include so much text because I'm trying to beat a machine, or I think people care enough that they're going to read all this text because they have to know everything about me. So the paper is crowded. It makes your eyes hurt just looking at it, and it feels exhausting to try to read it. You know that if you ever wanted to read a book, but you open it up and the print's tiny and the pages are wide, and you're like, I'm not reading this, right? There's a reason people like to read handouts, magazines, whatever. They're a little bit easier to read. Visually, they're easier. But the problem is people take that too far. And they're thinking, oh, my resume is going to get put in a pile. So all the career centers and the gurus teach you this bull crap of big crazy fonts and your picture and fun little things and this and that. And it's also so you become like a designer, a graphic designer. That's not what it is either. Because people aren't used to that. People want a strong, pretty boring looking, well, symmetric resume. Everything's bolded in the same places. The lines line up. It is easy to read quickly and get information without being overwhelmed and feeling like it's going to take a long time. So how's a way you can know yours fits? Because you're like, okay, Tommy, I don't know. Am I somewhere in the middle? Am I doing it right? Well, get a friend and get old school. I want you to click print off that old resume, get your friend at the table and say, here, friend, can you take a look at my resume? And they'll say, sure. I want you to count to 5 in your head. And then when you get to 5, pull it out of their hand. And they're going to be like, what'd you do? Don't get on paper cut. And you're saying, okay, what do you think? Give me some feedback. If they can start giving you feedback, well, yeah, I don't know. It seemed crowded. I don't know. It seemed weird. That's pure formatting. You need to know the impact you're making on people, the 5-second test. What are they thinking instantly when they look at my resume? So practice that. Take those suggestions, run with it. Find another friend. I want you to get to the point where 2 to 3 people in a row, after you do the 5-second thing, are like, oh, this looks pretty good. I liked it. I mean, you didn't let me read it. I only read one line, but it looked pretty impressive. People make up their mind in 5 seconds about your resume. I promise. Number 2, jargon. Too many power verbs. Too many career centers told us to put all these crazy power verbs, and it's just like this verb soup. And then we throw in all this jargon. The problem is, if I'm not in your field, I don't know what you're talking about. And people not in your field can be helpful. They will know people in your field. You need all sorts of people to like your resume and enjoy it and want to pass it around and send it to people in your field. And the people in your field, maybe you're not using the jargon the right way, or they'll think, oh my God, she's trying so hard with the jargon. Holy cow, I don't even know what she's trying to say. You would be shocked how many brilliant, amazing people with incredible experiences, their resumes make no sense. I can't make any sense of what I'm reading. So to see if that's you or not, and it very well could be, get that same friend or a new friend and literally have them read your first bullet, put it down, and explain to you what they just read. You might be shocked that 3 out of 5 bullets, your friend is like, I'm reading it, like, I think you were helping with this. And you'll be like, no, that's not what I was doing at all. It is mind-boggling how we can think our resume is so brilliant because we were there, we get it, and other people don't get what we're actually trying to say. So that might be the most important test. Find a friend who's willing to do that with you. And third is, this is a big one too, okay? The third one is you're not selling yourself, right? And I don't like elevator pitches in real life, but your resume should say, hey, I'm a badass, all right? And too often we think our resume needs to be like this accurate assessment of our time. So you did this boring task 3 hours a day at that job, and so you lead with that. But it's boring and it didn't really accomplish much. But actually you went to that conference and you were only there a day, but you like saved the conference. That needs to be on your resume and that needs to be higher up. And I actually rank my bullets by how much I like them. So like the odds are you're going to read the ones I like first. And if you do end up skipping them, that's okay, right? The things that show that you made an impact. I don't care if it only took you 4 hours. Like if it shows who you are, that you're an impact maker, that you can do big things, that's what I want on there. And so it doesn't have to be this accurate assessment of exactly what you were doing in the job. It should show the impact you were making at that job. Often we don't share wins. I see so many people and they're like, well, I didn't accomplish much. I just answered phones. I just did Excel. I didn't do much. But why? What did that feed into? Did that help your 20-person team go secure funding? Did that help your team of 7 actually go past that bill? What did it help you do? Hey, you worked at Smoothie King. This is a real example. Okay, but did sales go up? Did morale go up? Like, things may have gone well and you've got to play a part of that. So share that. You don't take all the credit, but talk about your team accomplishments, your organizational accomplishments, and let people see like, hey, this person's been around impact. They've seen things go well. Hey, they know how to be a team player and play a part of that, right? I worked on a campaign. I talk about how we won and our numbers went up. That wasn't all because of me, but I played I played my role in that. And people like to see wins. They like to see victories. They like to say, hey, this person's a winner. Hey, this person makes things happen. That's a positive, fun piece of paper for the other person to read. So the way you do that is you have to create an audience in your head. Resumes are hard because I can send an email and I know I'm sending it to John. I can text Sarah. I know I'm texting Sarah, but who's my resume for? So create a fake person. If it's your job right now, pretend you have a new boss and she doesn't know anything about your office. You got to really explain it to her. And you heard she wants to cut half the staff. So you have to show her, hey, don't cut me. I make an impact. Here's why I matter. Here's the things I've done. Now, maybe you're working on your resume and it's a job you had 10 years ago, 10 months ago, whatever, but you don't work there anymore. Pretend you want to go back. Pretend there's a new boss there and he doesn't know much about it and you want to come back and like get in a higher role there. But you got to show him why you kicked so much butt when you were there. Write it that way. Show how you fed into the organization's mission. Show why you were better than the other analysts, better than the other interns. And you'll write your resume so different. It is amazing the improvement of resumes I see when we give them that fake audience and they're envisioning that person. They'll give them a name and they write to them and it just comes out so much better. But look, there's a whole lot we didn't cover. We didn't really show you the formatting. I didn't give you like my basic templates. We didn't really talk about how you can really like show outcomes and answer the question why in everything you do. There's so much I have to share about resumes. So much, like over an hour's worth. And most importantly, I haven't had the time to tell you, how do we get the resume in the right people's hands? Once our resume is awesome and great, how are we getting it passed around? How do we do that? Well, you're in luck because I run a resume crash course where we cover all of that. It's really simple. You get an email Sunday night and then that kicks it all off. And then each day, Monday through Friday, there's a 10 to 15 minute lesson. It goes live at noon. You can watch me do it and chat along, or you can just catch the replay, catch up later that day. And the hope is that you'll watch each video each day. And if you get behind and have to catch up, whatever. But it's just it's amazing. People's resumes have gotten so much better. There's so many examples I could give you of people's resumes that have just gotten so much better. And more importantly, they know how to talk about themselves in a different way. They feel more confident in how they articulate their abilities and their passions, and it really improves their networking. And they love that last video where I showed them how to get their resume into the right hands. So I'd really encourage you to sign up for the next one we have coming up. We have one coming up next week. I'd love for you to participate. The cost is $40, but here's the good news. Number one, that's a steal because I spent $550 on a resume writer and he like made my resume worse. Like people would not pass it around. You're going to hear that story in the course, right? So this is far cheaper than anything you could ever pay anyone to go do it yourself, do it for you. But this is a skill you need to develop. You need to be a good resume writer because you're going to have to keep updating your resume your whole career. And it's going to help you be able to talk about your career by practicing and writing your resume. But the best part is, I'm going to give you your $40 back if you just finish the course. If you'll just watch these 5 videos and you'll at the end, I'm going to ask you like 2 or 3 questions and the reflective questions. How do you feel now? Tell me about something you overcame. If you'll just answer those questions and I know that you watched the videos, I'm just going to refund your money. I don't want your money. I want you to have an awesome resume because I want you to go out and help people with your career and have an amazing impact, right? So if your resume is holding you back, if you think you wouldn't pass these tests I just gave you, if you're wondering why your career is not clicking, this is the perfect place to start. Because I will tell you, your confidence will go through the roof when you know, hey, at least my resume is awesome. Hey, now I kind of have an idea of like how to get this resume and have people help and pass it around. Whoa, when you have a plan and you have tactics that I can show you that have worked for hundreds of people, like because I've been doing this, like your confidence goes through the roof. And when your confidence goes through the roof, you get results. And wouldn't it be amazing 2-3 months from now, have broken into your field and gotten that job you want, to maybe have gotten that promotion? Hey, maybe you're happy where you're at, but 2 to 3 months from now, just to have built a deeper, better network and know, wow, when I'm ready to leave, I'm going to be able to make it happen quick because people are invested. People want to help me and my resumes kick ass, right? So anyway, I've been rambling. I would love for you to sign up for the course. Don't drag your feet because I usually will cut this off at about 15, 20 people because I don't want to get too overwhelmed. I do have a day job and a family, so I don't let too many people in this course. And obviously, this is recording, so I don't know how many people have signed up right now. So I would say don't drag your feet on this. And again, you got nothing to lose. I mean, just if you're willing to spend an hour, it could really change your life. So I have made my point. Thank you for watching this. I hope these three tips I gave you help at least a little bit. And hopefully we'll be talking a lot more, right? Because you're going to be in this resume course with me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll be talking to you soon.